Hello everyone, this is Eva Dawson. Welcome to Eva Therapeutic Wellbeing. Today I'm going to talk about being an empath, and I'm going to talk about 8 strategies that you can do if you are an empath, ways to protect yourself and ways to make yourself feel more human and better every single day. So a lot of people are unaware sometimes if they are an empath. What is an empath or a highly sensitive person? Someone who is empathic has a tendency to be more anxious. They tend to become more anxious, especially in crowded situations. You have a tendency to feel other people's feelings, take on other people's emotions, and tend to be more of a people pleaser, or tend to get maybe sometimes taken advantage of by others, especially like in a work type relationship. You're the nice person that everybody knows they can go to if they need to talk about something. They kind of have a tendency to dump on you. If any of these things are sounding familiar, you're probably very empathic. So you can feel things more intensely. You feel the emotions of others. You feel even sometimes the emotion of the world and the environment when negative things are happening, like hurricanes or flooding. You take those emotions on yourself. And that can be very crippling, especially if you don't know how to deal with it. And so today I'm going to come on and talk about just some very practical strategies that you can do to help yourself if you are empathic. So the first strategy, so I'm going to talk about 8 strategies. The first strategy I'm going to talk about is shielding. And so this is an actual energetic practice that you can do. There's different ways that you can shield, but this has been the best technique that I have found to explain to people and how to shield themselves from other people's negative energies. This is all through visualization. So what I would prompt you guys to do is, if you're having difficulties, say going to the grocery store, some common complaints I have is I have a hard time going into crowded places, or the grocery store, or people in the grocery store overwhelm me, or I'll be in the grocery store and someone will come up to me and just tell me their life story. If this is sounding familiar to you, you definitely need to energetically shield. If you're kind of the go-to person, say at your workplace where everyone comes to you with their problems, you probably are the dumping ground for everyone's problems. They come to you, they tell you everything, and then they leave and they feel better and you feel worse. So this is what you need to do. You need to work on energetically shielding. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that. One would be, what I instruct my clients is using in your mind, visualizing almost like a force field around your body. So in your mind, you can ask for God or Jesus or white light of protection or whatever resonates with you. Ask that to come and shield around your body and create almost like a force field or a barrier. Some people like to use essential oils, and I can put in the comments below some really good essential oils for helping with energetic protection, but you can, just a part of your daily routine, put it on your shoulders, on your neck, and kind of use that essential oil to create a barrier around you, and also around your solar plexus area. So right underneath your rib cage, where your solar plexus are located, or where your rib cage meets, that is an energetic point where a lot of times people will kind of pull energy from you, and that's your area of vitality. So if you kind of feel sick to your stomach sometime, or if someone talks to you and you kind of start to develop an icky feeling in your stomach, that is a sign that someone is energetically taking energy from you, and that is another clue to you that you need to shield. So I always tell my clients to put extra barrier, extra force field around their solar plexus area. And so in your mind, you can energetically picture a bright white light around you, and I ask that no negative energy enter and only positive energy come through. One thing you can pay attention to is when you start doing this is you can, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, you can really think about pushing the energetic bubble way out to keep kind of people away from you. If people like to approach you and talk to you, if you start using this strategy and using your bubble to kind of push out, you're going to notice that people aren't going to be coming and bugging you as much. If you feel comfortable around people, you can bring that energetic field kind of in a little bit closer for people that you have a more intimate or more comfortable relationship with. So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is define and express what you need in relationships, or from others. So the trouble with empathic people is they tend to be people pleasers, and they tend to take on too much and tend to not ask for what they need in relationships. And so it's really important that you spend time thinking about what it is you want out of relationships, either with friends or with your loved ones, or with even with family members. And if they're continually going over those boundaries that you are trying to establish, then that's when you need to maybe rethink the relationship. So really thinking about what it is that you need from somebody, and not being afraid to ask for help. So that is definitely a trait of an empath. We tend to be want to help others before we help ourselves, and so asking for help is something that's kind of out of our comfort zone. So I would encourage you to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone and starting to ask for help or ask for what you need. That would be strategy number 2. Strategy number 3 would be making a list of things that you need at home for support, maybe from your spouse, and this goes along with strategy, what I just expressed in strategy number 2. It kind of piggybacks. So making a list of things that you need at home, like I would like from your spouse or from your kids, these are the things that I would like done every single day, instead of taking on the load yourself. And especially at work, I see this all the time. So people who are empathic, they tend to be the person that their boss asks them to do everything. And they say, sure, 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 because they don't want to disappoint anybody. They don't want to let anybody down. And so their boss just starts piling, or other coworkers start pushing their work. Does this sound familiar? Push their work off onto you. And so what I would advise you to create a list of things that you need help with, or that you no longer are able to do, and delineate that work to somebody else. So start delineating at work and at home to free up your energy. Strategy number 4, grounding. So a lot of people, this has kind of become, a trend, talking about earthing and grounding, but this is actual science. This is very important that human beings spend time on the earth. We walk on cement, we walk with shoes with soles, we very rarely get our bodies on the earth. And so what happens is our bodies start to accumulate negative energy inside of our bodies, and over time it really becomes almost like lags you down or makes you feel very fatigued or very tired, and you'd be surprised at how regenerating the earth, putting your body on the earth is. This is a very simple strategy I start to talk to my clients about at first, and they're like, really, you want me just to go sit in the grass? I'm like, yes, absolutely. So get your body physically on the earth. There's an energetic exchange that happens, and the earth will actually start pulling negative energy out of your body. And you can actually add some visual techniques to this. And so in your mind, as you breathe in, you can take a breath in, breathe in the energy, and then imagine as you blow out, pushing all the negative energy out of your body and down into the earth. And you'll be surprised at how much that really helps your body feel so much better. So if you tend to be drawn to trees, if you tend to be drawn to the sand, to the grass, to the ocean, to the water, those things are calling to you, and those are things that you really need to listen to. And listening to the messages of your body as an empathic person is something that a lot of times we don't do. We don't really listen to those messages. And so tuning into your body and tuning into those messages are super, super important. So you could meditate while you're sitting on the grass, take some time breathing. Even just walking in the grass barefoot or walking outside barefoot would be highly, highly therapeutic if you are, for any person, but especially if you are empathic. Strategy number 5, Epsom salt baths. Yes, taking a bath is super important for anybody, but especially for empathic people. So water is super cleansing and super recharging, and Epsom salt is very neutralizing to negative energy. It's also bioavailable magnesium, which is excellent to detoxify your body. And taking some time out in your bath to recharge, listening to some frequency music, listening to some soft piano music, lighting a candle, pouring in some essential oils will just really help to cleanse and rejuvenate your body. And a lot of times that people at first, when they start doing this, they're like, oh, I don't have time. I can't take time out to do that. But you really need to think about filling your cup first before you fill anybody else's. And this is a really good self-care strategy that you can use to help calm and relax your body and just kind of rejuvenate you and refill your cup. And you'll be surprised at how much more energy that you have after taking 20 minutes of time soaking in an Epsom salt bath. Strategy number 6, breathing techniques and meditation. When I first started meditating, I felt like a complete failure. So I have a very busy brain, and it was very difficult for me to slow my brain down and meditate. And I can't tell you enough how much I resisted this, and I wish I wouldn't have. So what I have found is that when you first start meditating, it does get easier. So think about it as you are lifting weights for your brain every time you meditate. So your brain will kind of start thinking about other things. And every time you bring your thoughts back to your breath or thoughts back onto what you're focusing on, it's like doing a bicep curl for your brain. And so it does take time to develop those strategies, but even if you can take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes out of your day to do some focused breathing and really calming down the brain, you'll be surprised at how much more relaxed and how much more focused you are and how much more mental energy you have throughout the day. So meditation, when you first start doing it, using a guided meditation is very, very helpful, because for me, I needed somebody to tell me what to do, tell my brain what to do, to focus on. And so now that I have developed better skills with meditation, I can do it without a guided. But at first, when I first started meditating, this was imperative for me being able to do it with any sort of success. Also, breathing techniques. I will be doing a video today, I will upload as well, on some different breathing techniques for empaths. So I will be doing a energy clearing breathing technique, but it's really important to focus on deep diaphragmatic breathing as a way to help cleanse and disperse negative energy out of your body. And so when you first start doing any sort of breathing technique, it's very, very important that it's something that, just like meditation, that at first when you start doing it, it's going to feel uncomfortable. A lot of times we are very used to shallow breathing inside of our lungs and not into our diaphragm. And so it feels unnatural when you first start doing it. But a lot of times we resist the things that we need to be doing. And so breathing techniques, deep diaphragmatic breathing, what it does is it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. It stimulates the vagal nerve, which helps to stimulate all your organs. It really helps to relax your body and helps to energize that, like I said, that parasympathetic nervous system to improve your relaxation response and decrease those active brain waves in your body. So using meditation and breathing together are just essential for your everyday survival as an empath. Strategy number 7, take time alone to recharge. Empaths need time alone. So this is really important. If you have a spouse that when they get home from work, they really need to be alone, instead of taking offense to that, think of it as their time that they need to be able to be a good human being in your relationship. Empaths tend to need to be secluded and away from other people in order to sort out what anxiety maybe is theirs and what is other people's. And so taking time away and space away from others is super important to be able to recharge, like using those baths, using the meditation, using the breathing techniques, time to maybe read, sitting on the earth, some of the strategies we just talked about. Those things should be done alone for you to recharge. So don't feel guilty about taking a time out and taking time away, say from your kids, taking time away from your from social situations for you to recharge. Strategy number 8, limiting negative people and limiting negative information that you're receiving. This would be via news, social media, and negative people. So if you are feeling sick or if you almost get anxious being around certain people, it's really important that you reevaluate why you feel that way. And if your strategies don't work, like your shielding techniques don't work, and you're still feeling ill when you're around those people, it's probably a relationship that you need to reevaluate. And I realize that we don't always have a choice about who we can be around and who we're not around. So if you don't have a choice, really limiting your exposure to negative people is super important. Also, negative news and pretty much all news is negative. And so if you watch the news and it just kind of just makes you feel like it ruins your day, it's really important to limit your exposure to news and media. I found that cutting out news and cutting out certain things on my Facebook feed was really, really important for my mental well-being. I would see certain images, I would see certain people, and it would make me feel overwhelmed. Negative news coverage, and I'm not saying to be naive to what's going on in the world, but when we see those images over and over and over again, it becomes overwhelming. And if you feel feel overwhelmed after you've watched those things, that is a really important sign for you that you need to limit your exposure to those things. So those are my 8 strategies for empaths. If you have any specific questions, you can always comment below. If you would like to have assistance, if you are empathic and you need to work on these specific strategies, those are definitely things that I can help you with. So below I will have links to schedule an appointment with me or to communicate with me if you have certain questions. So please reach out. You do not have to suffer with this alone. If you just are kind of discovering that you are empathic, it's really important that you have the guidance and the understanding of what you're going through. So please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to talk to me more personally, I would be available. So just please drop a comment below. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.